In today's show, we've got a Helldivers 2 update, a review for Unicorn Overlord. Oh, zombies.
Blooper reel.
Unicorn Overlord.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and I'm joined by our good playing good buddies, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Maulding.
Hey now.
In today's show, we've got a Helldivers 2 update, a review of Unicorn Overlord, top headlines of the week. We'll be revealing our most played games, and if that isn't enough, Maulding is back with a trivia smackdown about video game firsts. Before all that, let's check in with my consortium of Matts and find out what everyone's been playing this week. Lord?
Yeah, it's been a kind of a slow week for me, to be honest. Had my daughter's birthday last weekend, so it was kind of a busier weekend. I usually get a lot of gaming in then, but I did have a good little local multiplayer at Dan's place. We had some Welcome to Paradise. And wait, Maulding was in on that too, except
I joined a little bit.
Yeah, like that was a good time. I actually really liked that, like top-down zombie Diablo.
I'm telling you, Welcome to Paradise is a sleeper hit. People need to, wake up on.
I had a really good time. It was fun, so I leveled up like a little character, got a little progression in the story. Definitely cool. I'll be waiting for that one to come out in Game Pass. And then I've been just kind of solo leveling in Overwatch 2 per usual. Still the depths. They did like an update this week that, I don't know, makes healing even feel stranger. And then last night I dropped a couple Helldiver campaigns with a buddy, and
nice.
Yeah, and it was fun. I saw some of the updates, and I liked what I saw. That's it for me.
Maulding?
Yeah, I tried a few new games this week. Unicorn Overlord, which we'll talk about at the end of the pod, and then Immortals of Avium. Dan, you reached out to us and let us know that it was on sale for like $8 on Xbox. So I picked that up, and I played probably 4 or 5 hours of it, and it's super fun. Like, awesome. I really enjoy it. Definitely worth $8, and I wouldn't say it was worth $70, but it's worth $60. Absolutely, it's fun. It actually reminded me a bit of Overwatch, of the PvE action of Overwatch, where you're switching guns and shooting in different styles, and you're not using guns, you're using magic, but that's what the substitute for guns are, and it's a lot of fun. And I feel really bummed for the people that are going to be / already have been fired for their work on it, because it was a failed game, because it's really fun. Now, this is probably controversial, but the woman that you start the game off with talking to is so ugly that it makes me uncomfortable. And that's very judgy, but it's just a very, very uncomfortable looking scan of whoever face that is. And anyway. So I played that, and then I also played some Welcome to Paradise. I'm not totally convinced it's for me. Dan, you're further along than I am. Does it get more than just what I've been playing there at the beginning of just finding different guns and shooting the zombies over and over again? Like, is there more to it?
Wait, first off, I'm a little bit offended. You say that like finding guns and shooting zombies is a bad thing with that tone,
but it's just the same thing. Unless there's more to it, the further you go on, then like it's adding some new, I don't know, something new with the building or something new. Like, is there something new other than just that zombie shooting?
What level are you at? I don't want to spoil anything.
Maybe like 15 or something. I don't even remember at this point.
Okay. No, that's a pretty good level. And that's why, I said initially, I think this is a great Game Pass game.
Yeah.
It is $40, so it's not 70. But it does have, it depends on which skill tree you really put a lot of your points into, and you can refund your points at any time for no, fee. So it's, really fun to experiment. But I put a lot of my points into the zombie tree. So
Yeah.
I've been able to get multiple zombies, and then my zombies have zombies. So I'm
Yeah.
rolling with a crew that's like 6 deep, and that's pretty fun.
Okay, Adele. I mean, I think I'll go back to it, but Unicorn Overlord right now has my attention, so I'm looking forward to talking about that later on in the pod.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Same.
What about you, Dan? What are you playing?
I am playing, no surprise, of course, more Helldivers. Lots of that played this weekend. That's a great time. Leveling up more. See, even your dog is fired up. Your dog, when you say Helldivers, he's fired up as I am. And I'll be giving a quick update on where we are on Helldivers, what's going on there in a second. I've also been playing a lot of Welcome to Paradise just because it's really chill, fun, zombie killer. Leveling up my base and running around with my crew and just leveling different places. Although I get my ass kicked on occasion too. So. But it's fun. And then I've also been playing a lot of Outlast Trials. So that's a new game. Just came out. It's actually been on a PC for a while. I think almost a year now because I've been licking my chops waiting for it. But I let PC people beta test it for me before it was released on consoles. And finally, this past weekend it was. It's also, I think, $40. So I'm loving these $40 games. And it's pretty good. It's like being in a haunted house with your friends. It's 4-player co-op. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Outlast at all, but it's a great survival horror series. There's 2 of them. They're fantastic. They go on sale every Halloween, so definitely recommend checking them out. They will scare the bejesus out of you. The second one's I'm only halfway through, but this one's the multiplayer version of that. And it's literally your friends and you're in a haunted house. You've got objectives that you have to do to get through. There are traps everywhere on doors or glass on the floor, and then these big hulking like naked dudes with big wieners will chase after you, or the woman with a puppet on her hand and she's trying to kill you with this drill, and like they've got these fantastic creatures that are chasing you through the level. It's PvE, so you are playing against the computer. You do get a chance to go through all of the level. You come out, you're in a psychiatric facility, and they consider all of this therapy. And so you kind of sign up again for another round of therapy, and it kind of cycle repeats itself. In the meantime, you do get a chance to hang out in the facility with people. You can play chess, you can arm wrestle, you can level up your character. You've also got a room where you can buy cosmetics, and it's pretty cool. It's just, and then you can visit other people's rooms and hang out for a bit, and then you go for another bout of therapy, and you get stuck in the haunted house again, and then you come out, even crazier than before, to be honest with you. But it's fun survival horror experience with friends. So I don't have I will have a full review and score on it later because I'm not far enough in it. I've only gone through like probably 4 trials, but definitely enjoying that.
So it's not like DB. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Maulding.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is it as scary as like the first one? Because I feel like the first Outlast is beyond cuckoo. Like, there's no way I can even pick that up.
It's similar. You're with your buddies, so you can scream like a little bitch and be like, "Oh my god!" and help me. And if you get downed, then they can come and res you. And so it's not as scary because you're with your friends, but it still has all of the elements that were used in the first couple of games. Specifically, it uses the night vision goggles. In fact, when you go for therapy, they put the goggles on you in the beginning of the game, and then they drill them onto your head so you can't remove them. But you can turn them on and off. And they're really good for night vision. Unfortunately, their battery doesn't last very long, so you can find batteries throughout the levels, or if you're able to find a way to trigger a trap without, or I don't know what I'm looking for. You can disarm a trap. Then you can take the battery out of that, and you can use it in your goggles as well, and so you get more night vision. So the more night vision you have, the better. I don't know. So it's kind of like the first game, but just social.
That makes sense.
Nice. Yeah. All right, moving on. let's talk about Unicorn Overlord. I hear you have been spending some amazing time in this game. I've heard a lot about it, but what are your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, so first off, it came out March 8th, so it came out last week. But what's really sold me on it right from the very beginning is that there is a demo available, and it allows you to play 6 hours, and then that you can move your progress into the main game once you buy the main game. And that allowing me to play a game for 6 hours to really see if I wanted to buy it or not was the reason I bought it. I would not have bought it without being able to play it first.
What platforms is it on? Like the demo and stuff.
That is an excellent question. I think it's PlayStation and Xbox for sure. I don't know about Switch or PC. I didn't look that up.
And I don't really know much about the game other than it's like cell shaded or something. Can you describe it?
So basically, to be perfectly honest, it looks like a mobile game. Like it really does. It has, but you're not playing this.
That's
game
not selling me on it.
No, but you're not. You would hate this game. I mean, I'll put it right out there. You would hate it. I don't know Matt well enough yet to know if he'd like it or not. But yeah, it's definitely has the graphics of a mobile game, but that's not why you play it. This game you play for the tactics element of it. So people online were saying that it reminded them of I think it was Ogre Battle, which Ogre Battle 64, which I never played, so I can't speak to that. But basically what it is you have troops, you go out into the world, you then start a mission, and then you send these troops out to do battles. Now the battles are actually all automated. You choose with your characters what you have them do based on tactics. So if there's a character under 50%, this character will heal with their power. You don't control them at all, other than the tactics part, which I think turns probably a lot of people off because they want to have control over each character. You don't have that. What the tactics part is making sure your troops have good synergy, that they then are attacking the right guys at the right time. There's a rest period, so they can only attack 5 times, but they have to take a rest. So you have to make sure that other troops are there in front of them to take the heat off. And yeah, so far I've played probably 10-15 hours so far. That is the basics of it. I find that tactics play extremely fun. I think it's a blast. I think I'm playing on the hardest level, so it's really you have no room for error. You have to be able to have each character do what they need to be doing at the time that they need to be doing it. So it's out now. Like I said, it's $59.99 for the standard edition and $69.99 for the Monarch edition, which includes an album and artwork. It's expensive for what the game is. I think that the game is probably going to be 60-70 hours, and I'm only like 15 hours into it. I think it's a meaty game. And also there are over 60 named characters so far that they say you can join your thing, and that might be 60 characters each with their own storylines. I'm not too sure on that because I'm not that far, but I feel like that's really meaty. It has some issues in the controls with selecting your different troops, which is a little frustrating. I wish there was a tab option for you to tab with the RB button to tab through your troops. But yeah, like I said, the key to me buying it was really having this 6-hour trial. I probably wouldn't have just bought it for $60 without being able to play it first. But if you like tactics game, I would give this game a 7.5 and maybe move it up to an 8.5 depending on how the game progresses. But I'm very excited to continue to play. I've been really enjoying it.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's really cool to hear.
Is that something that we foresee maybe coming to Game Pass or anything like that soon?
I could totally see it being on Game Pass. It's Vanillaware is the name of the developer, which I don't have very much experience with other Vanillaware games, and I don't know if there are any on Game Pass. Honestly, just looking at the artwork for the game, I see a lot of that similar artwork on Game Pass games. So if I'm going to be judging it that way, I'm going to guess maybe it will. It would be a huge, great get to be able to play it for free, or for just your Game Pass subscription. But I am not disappointed that I paid the money for it.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely
Dan,
something.
yes, Dan would hate it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Matt. If you like a tactics game like a
I love
Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Battle, which again I never played, so I don't know what that one was like.
I'm pretty trash at them, but I definitely enjoy them for sure. So
I highly suggest just looking at gameplay before you ever make a decision. For any game, I try to look at gameplay before I ever make a decision on buying something. But yeah, so
and there is the demo if you want to check it out.
And the demo. I mean, yeah, the free demo, and to have your progress carry over. Again, I think I would probably not have even purchased it if I had to play that demo and then the progress didn't carry and then I had to play it all over again. Maybe I wouldn't have even bought it that. But they hit some good goalposts. Yeah.
But playing this game isn't going to stop you from what the topic I want to dive in deep next week of Dragon's Dogma 2, is it?
Oh no. This is just a holdover. This is a dirty truck stop on the way to what Dragon's Dogma is going to do to me next week. Yeah.
Agreed. I want to have like a whole hype episode where we get super pumped about Dragon's Dogma because it comes out next Friday and my body is so ready.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out while we're doing our podcast. So
I know.
I'll probably be like...
I know, but we need to talk about characters. We need to talk about everything. So
yeah, what are they called? Starts with a P.
Is it professions? I can't remember.
Well, we'll let our audience know next week when we do our in-depth preview. For now, though, we need to move on to the top headlines of the week. All right, first up, I wanted to talk about Helldivers. Surprise, surprise. A lot of great updates this week. I'll check out
during this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Matt, you would love this game.
I probably would. It's just so much hype. It's like why I don't eat at Trader Joe's is because there's so much hype about it that I don't want to even eat there.
But they do have some really good Chinese, like these dumpling things. We'll talk about that later. But there's a couple of redeeming qualities about the overhyped Trader Joe's. And there are a ton of great qualities about the not overhyped Helldivers too. This week has been a fantastic week. I know last week on the podcast we talked about MECHS, and sure enough, as soon as we finished the podcast, the very next day, MECHS were released in the game. And the great thing about the MECHS is that although they're supposed to be a level 25 stratagem, they were released for everybody in the game, so it was really fun to be able to jump on there and try the MECHS and get a feel for what they're going to be for when I'm eventually 25. I have a little bit more grinding to do, but I'm really, really close. So that was a great update for last week. This week, they started talking about a major order was released about termicide. It's this new chemical that has been invented that are supposed to kill the terminids on several planets. There's 4 of them that we as Helldivers are supposed to drop into and take over and wipe them all out. Now, of course, everyone is concerned about what's really going on here in the meta, and that is we think the termicide is going to result in mutating the terminids and not exterminating them, because there have been sites of flying terminids called shriekers showing up in people's games, and people are assuming that it's a result of the most recent major order. So do not be surprised if now, by the time we finish this one on this weekend, we are fighting flying monsters in Helldivers 2. So it's definitely something to be looking forward to.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the new Warbond Cutting Edge was released today. So there's a lot of new cosmetics and guns to jump into. The community has already decided which are their favorites and which ones need improvement, but I want to real quickly go over each one because I'm super pumped about them.
For sure.
There is stun grenade, which I bring that one first because I think that one sounds the least exciting, but it will stop chargers and other terminids right in their tracks. So it's really powerful if you're about to be mowed down to kind of stop the battlefield, be able to get out of the way and hit people. So people are surprised by how powerful this grenade is, and that's definitely something I want to check out. The loser of the group apparently is the Arc 12 Blitzer. People aren't a big huge fan of this one. It's apparently very slow. It doesn't do enough damage. It does like to the smaller enemies, but does not do so much to the bigger enemies. It's kind of a situational gun where it does have its place, but some of the bigger enemies just aren't fazed by it. So that one seemed to be getting mixed reviews. Then there is the SG Punisher Plasma. This one is almost like a grenade launcher where it has splash damage. So you're not supposed to shoot directly at them. You're kind of supposed to shoot the character's feet that you're aiming at so that it hits them. It's pretty good for groups and does well on the lower enemies as well. But also getting mixed reviews. The two guns that I'm most pumped about, though, that are getting the really good reviews are the LAS-7 Dagger Pistol, which is a laser pistol that they say has pretty good range, really good range. The damage is kind of mid, but because it does so much range that it's really useful on some of these. And the other weapon that's really great is the LAS-16 Sickle. And that's one I think everyone's been looking forward to, especially after they nerfed the breaker shotgun. This apparently is supposedly, and that's early, but this is the new go-to weapon. So I can't wait to get my hands on this one. This one also is a laser rifle. And the great things about these laser guns, depending on the weather of the planet, yes, I know. But the great thing about these laser runs is that you might get 6 charges. And if you're able to shoot enough and then stop yourself, you won't completely use your charge, and your weapon will completely reload itself for you. Now, if you keep firing, then it will use the full clip and it won't reload. But for people like myself who need a lot of ammo in this game, this kind of laser weapon is fantastic as a primary, and I'm really excited to get in there. And I'll be trying it out this weekend.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely need to get a few more drops and get more hands-on experience with the new update. I've been following along with the kind of head of Arrowhead, who is talking about how bugs can't fly, and he's talking about bug sympathizers and stuff. I just think
he was hilarious. Yeah,
they're really going all in on a lot of this. They're just kind of taking over everything, man. It's their video games blowing up, they're taking over social. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch, and I think that they have a really passionate community behind them, and a lot of people are in the meta, and there's a lot of good memes, so it's really fun right now, and I'm definitely enjoying it. One thing I do sometimes hear is that hey, this game is a little bit pay to win because, hey, they just nerfed our weapons and now they've got a new warbond. And yes, you can grind out some credits. You get 10 cents, I think, for every super credit you find on every planet. And sometimes there are 3 or 4 per planet, depending on what you're doing. So there is a way to actually grind out enough money that you don't have to actually physically pay for these warbonds. But then I think that, and I was curious to ask you guys, what do you think about that? Do you think in a PvE game, if it's a little bit pay to win, is that still bad? Because I'm not saying it's pay to win. Don't let anyone at me. But, you are able to access some different weapons if you paid physically, or you're able to grind them out. If it's a little bit PvE, because it's PvE, is pay to win a little bit less bad? Is that still, what do you think?
I honestly don't know. I think pay to win in any circumstance is sort of a slippery slope. So I don't think it's a good thing that should be implemented in any case. to be honest. I just think there's just something about, I mean, you're playing with other people. You could even drop in with randos, and if they're just out there slaying it when you're just the grind pleb who doesn't have the pay to win weapons, then I just think that's like a huge problem.
It's absolutely terrible. Pay to win is not acceptable in any scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
I've heard rumors that you can even get booted from your team if they don't like the weapons that you are bringing in, and that is because of the pay to win scenario. I think so. I think it's bad for gamers. Oh, someone else's dog.
I say I totally agree.
Nice. I love it when people agree with me. That's my favorite thing.
Apparently my dogs felt very passionate about that and highly agreed. I know what you mean. I think the kicking has been a significant problem. They have reached out to the community, so that's been interesting to see them kind of solicit solutions from people. I do also think one thing that would help, not that I'm a person who kicks people out, but sometimes I do get lower level people jumping in my high mission lobbies, and I'm like, buddy, it's not even what you've got equipped. It's the fact that you're like a level 4 and you're trying to get in my game, and that's just not going to cut it.
That's a problem with the matchmaking. That's not a problem with that person. So you shouldn't even be able to do that.
100% I agree. Yeah. I'm just saying that everyone's assuming it's because of what you have equipped in this game. And right now I'm saying for me, the biggest problem is that I'm getting really low level people that are doing lots of team killing and they're not following orders and stuff like that. So I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of weak. I mean, that is the one thing. I feel like it's super easy to troll in that game. So, I mean, luckily we even had like a rando drop in last night, and I was just waiting for him to go nuts and like kill us both. So I was like, okay, this is gonna happen, but it didn't happen. And I just know that is like a rampant issue and just is so easy. You can mess up people's games like in a heartbeat. So I could see
I'm
them...
interested.
yeah, Maulding, it's right up your alley.
No, I would never do that.
All right, moving on. I know, Maulding, you wanted to talk about Microsoft Xbox Rewards.
So it's not so this isn't really a news thing, but I want to talk about how the Microsoft Awards program has really gone downhill in the last for sure 2 months or 3 months. So today, before I bought Unicorn Overlord, I wanted to redeem my points. And evidently, you can't just redeem your points through the app any longer. The app sends you to the website. You then have to sign in. You then have to go through all these other hoops that you have to jump through to redeem those points. If you're not set up for the auto redeem at the end of the month,
I do auto redeem.
So I'm on auto redeem. That's fine, but I wanted that $10 that I had in there now. And the app crashed. There was just a whole thing. There was a lot of problems in order to get it done. So I just ended up not doing it. That, in addition to a couple months ago, they completely nerfed the amount of points you get for browsing. You used to be able to get just five points, which is the equivalent to half a cent, I think, is what you used to get just for looking at a web page.
And now you get what,
great.
3?
What was that?
You get 3 of them, right? Is it 3 or something for that?
No. You now, at least according to the app, there you have to look at like 15 or 20 websites to get the 5 points.
Oh, God.
At least according to what my little bit of research that I've been doing. And then earlier last week, they nerfed the points for the daily set that you used to be able to get like 30 points for the second one.
Dang.
Now it's like 10 points across so the max you can get is 30 points on that. Anyway, that I've been really upset with that because
I'd like to agree with you here and say we used to get a monthly gift of 100. We used to get 3 objectives in your weekly, and now we only get 1 objective. And to the point where I don't even log into that app anymore on the console. I used to have like a 2-year week streak, and I just left it because I'm like, I'm not getting enough points to jump through all of these hoops. Meanwhile, they're raising prices on Game Pass and everything else, and they're decreasing the amount we get for these things. So I definitely feel the same. I've definitely noticed it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's too bad. Dan, I remember when you showed me that and I thought it was like a gold mine. I was like, oh man, $10 to Microsoft, so pretty easily. I
Yeah,
thought like you could grind that
I
out
was getting free
quick.
Game Pass almost every month by grinding it out, and then they
Yeah,
raised the price of Game Pass and they lowered the amount of points that we were getting.
that's tragic.
Many months I was getting $10 free a month. And then my streak is at 100 and I think I'm about to hit 110 weeks on my daily set
Nice.
streak.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean every 10 weeks you get 2,500 points, which is the equivalent of $2.50. Now, granted, they don't have to do any of this. They don't have to give us any points.
Right.
And all of this is basically free money, so gift horse mouth looking into it, but still, to have it nerfed when it used to be much better is just kind of sucky. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly.
No, I agree, and I saw it on the agenda, and I was like, yes, I'm glad. I'm always happy to talk about this stuff. But also was curious, are you guys experienced at all with PlayStation Stars, and what are your thoughts on that?
No,
I'm
I
not.
didn't know that one at
I've
all.
kind of heard. I've heard bits about it. It's the same sort of concept, right?
Yeah, so they give you like monthly objectives, and some of them are yearly objectives. You have I think one of them on there is to plug in a keyboard and mouse, and you get points. And so they've got different types of games. They're like, okay, this is cozy game this week, and if you play a cozy game and they list them out, then you get this many points. So it is similar to what Xbox is doing. I don't feel like there are as many opportunities to get stuff on the PlayStation Store. Their rewards are sometimes other games, so they cycle in different games, but then they do have the ability to redeem rewards for gift certificates and stuff to their store as well. So the exact same system does exist on PlayStation. Well, maybe not exact, but I don't feel like I'm earning as many rewards on PlayStation as I am on Xbox, and that means even though Xbox has gotten really cheap, they're still better than where I think PlayStation Stars is. And if I'm wrong, sound off in comments or feel free to at me on that one, because I'd love to join a system that makes even more money than what I'm earning right now. But I think first of all, definitely get the app and make sure that you get the PlayStation Stars, though.
Wait, Maulding, did you say why they're changing the
No,
Microsoft?
I haven't seen any reports of why they're doing it. I mean, I'm assuming it's because a lot of people were getting getting Game Pass for free every month, so maybe probably that was part of it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just shrinkflation. I'll blame shrinkflation for it.
It's totally
just
shrinkflation.
Like everyone trying to get a little bit more money out of people. It is what it is. I just wanted to grouse about it a bit.
No, and I'm here to help grouse and listen, but don't sleep on PlayStation Stars for sure. I think it's worth checking out.
No, we won't.
Right on. All right, moving on. Lord, you had a story about Red Dead Redemption 2, which was funny because I just was talking about that.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Dan, I figured you got so much grief online about it after saying it.
I mean, hammered just like a rusty nail. You were just
2 episodes
hammered.
ago.
I wasn't even all that.
2 episodes ago, they were coming for you, Dan. So this just kind of is an interesting little tidbit that I saw.
It backs them up. Is that what you're going to say?
Backs them up, I'm afraid.
So now you're coming for me too. It's not enough that random strangers, but now my own friend is coming for me.
So Red Dead Redemption 2, it became the highest selling title on PS4 in February. The game is nearly 6 years old and still selling like hotcakes. Like, how is this happening?
Okay, first off, I want to say I appreciate you putting that on the agenda, and I also did a little research when I knew this story was coming up. So I went and I looked at your article, and it is coming directly from the PlayStation blog, so it is legit numbers, but they don't post that every single month. I did go back to October in the prior year, and it was exactly the same. Red Dead was still up there. And then they had one from July as well in 23, and then I quit going back because I got bored. But my thought there was, okay, yes, Red Dead Redemption is a good game. I think that there's some sales. In fact, there's a sale going on.
Are you backtracking? Someone's backtracking.
No. I'm just saying.
Flip-flopping.
It's on sale right now. So there have been some significant sales in the past that have boosted it, as well as these results are just for PlayStation 4. So they're not counting my precious Helldivers or anything else, which is at the top of the list for PlayStation 5.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't disagree that it is a huge game and like a cultural like milestone in terms of people loving it and feeling passionate about it. I just disagree that it was a good game. That's all.
I mean, I think our pod is probably what triggered so many people buying the game, right? I mean, it has to be.
It must have been.
It has to be our effect on the gaming community.
It's a good playing with you effect.
Yes. So Rockstar, feel free to reach out and thank me personally.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty incredible. I mean, still though, I mean, what other game could really say that? I think like something off the top of my head would be like a Counter-Strike or something along those lines. And those games are free. So it's like, holy smokes. I mean, if people are paying full price $60 for a 6-year-old game, that's kind of insane.
I agree. But you know what it really made me think was, wow, what a missed opportunity at Rockstar Games. Like, what are they doing? When you've got some franchises that are this big and selling this well, regardless of what I think about the game, people are loving it. Why are you not doubling your studio size or starting another branch or something like that and having people, start working on these games so that they're coming out at a faster clip? Because obviously there's some money to be made there. And the fact that really what it comes down to is I'm a little PO'd that we have had to wait over 10 years for Grand Theft Auto 6. Like there's in no world does that make sense. You're leaving so much money, I think, on the table. It could be, and there's a million ways that it could be done with different studios and that sort of stuff. But I don't think that they have the right kind of business plan in place when it comes to this.
I gotta push back on you here. Look at Call of Duty putting one out every year. It dilutes the brand.
Okay, that's too much though. Yeah,
I mean, look at Marvel. Marvel's pulling back all of their stuff. They just announced yesterday or today that they're canceling a bunch of stuff. Like, I actually think Rockstar has a fantastic business model because why create a new Grand Theft Auto quickly when the 10-year-old version is still in like the top 10 sales every month?
I'll tell you why. Because I really want a new Grand Theft Auto.
Well, you're gonna get one. You just gotta be patient.
I know. I can't wait.
I'll create some ugly lady to play with you online this time, like I did last time.
Perfect.
Full
circle.
Yeah. But speaking of things I'm not necessarily looking forward to, did you guys check out the Spider-Man trailer that leaked?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware, Insomniac, unfortunately, I believe that they recently were working on this game, a Spider-Man game that was multiplayer, and it got canceled. And strangely enough, 2 trailers actually leaked this week showing off this multiplayer game, what could have been. And I think that the goal really was to get the community behind them and to have people, get on social and say, hey, we really want this game. And I completely understand that desire. But unfortunately, this game just didn't look that great to me. And it could be because I just came from Suicide Squad. What did you guys think about these trailers?
I actually thought it could have been cool. I actually think that's probably what the Spider-Man franchise needed at this point. That was my initial take. I think we already had enough with 1, so 2 was already way max. They probably should have done 1 and then done the multiplayer and seen how that went. And potentially it could have been fun. I probably would have preferred.
It just didn't look finished to me. Let me clarify and just say it could have been great, but it just didn't look like the idea was fully cooked.
I agree. I mean, it didn't show exactly like what potentially it could have had. A lot of it was just like cinematics. Like one character was jumping on an enemy and another person was flying out of the screen and hitting the enemy. It's like, I don't know. I think it could have been fun, but I don't think it was going to be completely groundbreaking. And it's no surprise. Like, I feel like all the multiplayer games are getting axed right now, like including the Last of Us 2 multiplayer, which was so hyped and so highly anticipated. So I don't know if this is just sort of the trend right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's
Maulding,
my
what was
take.
your take?
I mean, I think it's Madam Web erasure. Like, I think
Yeah.
I wanted to know which one of these guys were in the Amazon with my mother when she was researching spiders right before she died. That's what I was looking for. No, I just had to put in that Madam Web joke. I mean, listen, it looked fun. It looked like you're playing the game with other people, but it didn't look like you had anything to do other than fight guys with other people. So, I mean, the game's canceled. It's not coming out, so we'll never know.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because if they could build a great, Spider-Man co-op game, there's definitely a great idea there, and I would have loved to have seen more.
Give me an X-Men new generation co-op game. That's what I want to play.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool. Or like a Batman, like I kind of feel like this might have been like a better like Arkham.
Ooh. I mean, they've tried that a couple times, and I mean, they tried that with what's its game.
Dan, you played that bad game.
Yeah, that Dan played. Oof.
Don't
Oof, I tried for like 10 minutes, and I was like, no, so bad.
Yeah, no, I think hopefully this is sort of the nail in the coffin for some of these Spider-Man games, like, and just superhero games in general. I think we need to focus on getting some totally new IPs out there. I know that might just be like a lost art at this point, but that is where we need to go.
I mean, did you play Midnight Suns? Midnight Suns was fantastic. It was so good.
It wasn't that a card battler or something?
Yeah, it was a it's a card battler. You hate card
Oh gosh, I didn't expect to hear that.
But it was a fantastic game. Brand new IP for the thing. It had a new way of playing, kind of a tactics version card. It was so much fun. So
yeah.
Don't sleep on that one.
Okay.
All right, we got to move on here. Before we do, I know that there were a couple stories left on the agenda. Do you guys want to touch on them, or are we good to jump to our topic of the week?
I'll just do mine really quick.
Yeah.
Peoria, Illinois did this. The police department did this thing on social media where they put a like Call of Duty branded promotion for their police to get people to sign up for the police department, and it was just so tone deaf and so awful. This is from
Was
Kotaku.
It like shoot people? Like what are they?
No, I mean, it had
Call of
three
Duty?
like white guys dressed up in tactical gear, saying something.
It had some
like,
tagline that was very Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was like. I mean, let me look at it real quick here. Oh, I can't bring it up. It just looks really. It was really cringy, and my first thought is, of anybody that I want to be a police officer, someone who plays Call of Duty is not that person.
Oh, I got it. It was stop playing games and answer the Call of Duty.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
They got a
That's
bunch
cringe.
of pushback about it, and I think they've since removed it. But I just thought that was an interesting little story. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a good look to align the police with military. These are the people that are supposed to protect us, not shoot us. And this doesn't make that clear or make me feel good about whoever's, advertising them. So,
yeah. And it was like three white guys pointing their guns. It was just a bad look.
Yeesh.
I don't know what they're thinking there.
All right, moving on. The topic of the week is which 5 games that you've been playing, probably the last couple of generations, because I know that they didn't track before that, but which 5 games are your biggest time sinks that you've had over the last, couple of generations that you have, and how many hours do you think that you've sunk into them?
All right.
So, Lord, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Because I probably have the least big hitters, so we'll save the grand finales for last.
I know, Maulding, you have to be the last one.
Yeah. Well, I finally was able to. First of all, finding the playtime for each game on PlayStation is a pain in the ass. I felt like it was super easy finding games for Xbox. You have to literally log into the PlayStation, hover or click into the game, and then you can see the playtime.
But did you use the website that I sent you?
Yeah, but that was for only Xbox.
No, you can log in with your PlayStation account as well.
No,
really?
that was that site was Xbox Achievements.
Oh, but it allowed me to log in with okay, maybe
With
just
PlayStation also?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang.
thought
All
so.
right.
I
Well,
could
I
be wrong
kind of
there.
missed. I kind of blew it then.
No, go ahead.
In this case, I went that extra step, looked at it on PlayStation. It turns out Modern Warfare 2019, Call of Duty, 950 hours. That I think is a combo of multiplayer with Warzone and peak COVID. All that coming together amounted to 950 hours. And then I'm not really surprised about this, but Rainbow Six Siege, I have 614 hours into. I used to play that all the time. That spanned between like early PS4 days into
whatever happened to that? Like I haven't heard of it in forever, and
it kind of like I don't know. It kind of like petered out. I think it was best when it was very realistic, and now it like is all over the place.
Did they stop updating it, or is it still getting?
I think they still have updates, but now there's like superpowers in it. It's not like real. It's not like based in reality. I thought like it was way better when it was like almost like a hyper realistic shooter. And then Overwatch 2, 438 hours, and then I'm kind of dwindling down. Halo Infinite, I have like 250. And then I don't know what my fifth one would be. It's got to be like it would have to be some single player game. I know I saw a bunch of 40 hours on a lot of single player games. Like I don't put in like a ton of time into single player games for some reason. I just don't think I have like full amount of time, and I don't have friends like dragging me into the games like I would with a multiplayer game. And that's it for me. Dan.
All right. Maulding, I want to go through mine because I know your hours are the craziest.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to start with 5 and work my way up to 1 just for dramatic purposes. So number 5, a close contender just needs a shout out is Texas Chainsaw. They are releasing a new character soon, and they've got a new map that was just revealed this week with the mill, so it looks really, really good, and I can't wait to get chopped up in the mill. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my number 5. That game I went crazy for. I got all the DLC. I thought it was fantastic for an Assassin's Creed. So, like it was definitely the best one. I spent 196 hours in that.
Wow.
My number 4 is Destiny 2. I got really, really into that, and I ended up going into the raids, and I did all the seasonal stuff. And when they started nerfing my weapons after every season and stuff, then that's when I started to fall off of it. But had a great time in Destiny 2. I played a lot with you, Maulding. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a good time, and that was 201 hours. My number 3 is Fortnite, surprise, surprise, at 459 hours, which is kind of crazy. I'm surprised I actually haven't spent more in there, given all of the time and everything that I've been doing. Yeah. My second one is Friday the 13th at 640 hours. It was just a good social time.
I gotta say, that's just... I saw that number the other day and I was impressed. Just the fact that game is truly so random.
And
we need to rank
you
in the world.
Bad.
Look, it really kicked off my love for asymmetrical horror gameplay, and so I love Texas Chainsaw because of Friday the 13th, my experience there. I love Outlast Trials because of that, and I'm really looking forward to Killer Clowns from Outer Space that's coming up this summer. So we'll definitely be talking about that one. But I really, the asymmetrical horror multiplayer Friday the 13th, just I don't know, good stuff. And then my number 1 is Dead by Daylight, surprise, surprise, with the asymmetrical horror, 987 hours.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I played that game a bunch too, and that wasn't in my top 5. But that's only because both of you are amateur gamers compared to the hours that I'm going to give you.
That's why I saved the last spot for you, because
Yeah.
I'm dying for you to trounce us and show us up with your awesome numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I think, Dan,
agree.
I'm going to say before I give my numbers, you spread your games out and play a bunch of different games. I feel more than what I do, which is play fewer games, but I play them a lot, which we will see here in the hours. So first, I'm going to give a special consideration, honorable mention to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which came out last year.
I don't even know what the hell
on-
that is.
Yeah.
So you'd hate it too. Basically, it's a D&D game. But I play in one playthrough. I played 228 hours just in one, getting from the beginning to the end. So that's my special consideration. That's not even in my top 5. So so the original Destiny, not even Destiny 2, original Destiny, 526 hours. I played that. Then comes Monster Hunter World, which I know you dislike, Dan. That I played for 852 hours, and that was multiple playthroughs. There was probably 3 or 4 characters that I leveled up from the very from level 1 to getting to end game. Basically because I choose one weapon that I want to specialize in and get really good at that weapon and play throughout the entire game. Then Dead by Daylight, Dan, what was your hours? 987. I had 1,459 hours on.
And I started
Dead
playing
by
that game
Daylight.
like a year before you did.
Yeah, I played a lot of killer. I think those are a lot of killer hours.
For sure,
more
you
than
were killer.
Survivor. I'd be curious if I could see the split between that. Ark, I have played for 1,813 hours. Ark is a game that I just get lost in. A couple of friends of the pod, Brendan and Blake, played a lot with me.
That's 75 days. Just out of curiosity.
yeah, I know, but that pales in
legendary.
comparison to the number 1 game, which is Overwatch. And Overwatch I have played for 2,707 hours as of when I looked at it yesterday. It's probably 2,778 hours if I were to look at it today.
That's 112 days.
112 days of my life I have played Overwatch. That is Overwatch and Overwatch 2. That's not just Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 I don't even think has been out that long. But what really sucks about that number is I am still not very good at the game.
That's why I had to quit DBD.
Only like silver and gold level. I'm not. I mean, that's like bottom 3 levels of expertise for how often I played that game.
Dang. Okay, so that Overwatch 2, I'm thinking about that. That's going to be only Overwatch 2. I needed to like find like that didn't combine with my Overwatch 1 account numbers.
I mean, the Xbox One combined them. So that is my number of Overwatch and Overwatch 2.
Okay, then that makes sense. So all right, 400. Dang, Maulding. That is a legendary number. And
I mean, it's either really I should be proud of it or just really, really sad.
On this podcast, we're proud of it. It's about entertainment.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's not like we're sitting around watching TV, which is boring. We're actually interacting with something.
I definitely want to say, comment your top play games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we want to know.
I'm curious to see what other people play for sure.
Yeah, and the hours, of course, because that's the key component to this thing.
Definitely. Oh, speaking of playing games, moving on, let's go directly to Maulding's trivia game. Video game firsts.
So that is a little deceiving. This is a video game. Which video game came first? So I'll give you 2 video games, and you are going to need to tell me of those games which is the one that hit. Now, this is which game hit consoles first. This is not which game consoles in America. So there's a few caveats about it. It's not games in Japan. It's not games in the arcade. It is which game came out on a console or PC first. Who's going first? All right,
Me.
Dan.
It's
All
my
right.
week. Adios, Lord.
Please, Lord, go into the soundproof booth. Dan, we are going to start the timer now. I will give the
Bring it at
two
me. Come
games.
on.
You just tell me which game came first. Here we go. Missile Command or Space Invaders?
Oh crap, dude. Space Invaders.
Castlevania or Ghosts and Goblins?
Oh man, you're hitting me with the hard stuff. Castlevania.
Dr. Mario or Battletoads?
Battletoads.
Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Metroid?
Ooh, super. This has got to be a trick one. So, Super Mario Bros. 3.
Diablo or Fallout?
Diablo.
Devil
Ooh.
May Cry or Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear Solid.
Call of Duty World at War or Call of Duty Black Ops?
COD Blops.
Cuphead or Celeste?
Cuphead.
Cyberpunk 2077 or Animal Crossing New Horizons?
Is New Horizons the one that's on the Switch? Okay.
The last one.
Yeah. I will say definitely Animal Crossing.
Tears of the Kingdom or Final Fantasy 16?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Time's up. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Please bring Matt Lord out of the soundproof booth. Matt Lord.
All
Good
right,
luck with these,
let me
buddy.
get the sound back on here.
It's tricky. It's definitely tricky. I'm sweating a little bit. Good luck. They're
okay,
tricky.
I'm back.
They're
There
tricky.
you go. You're back.
All right, so
Dan,
I'm ready.
Good luck, but not too much luck.
In 30 seconds. All right, Matt Lord, let me reset the clock. This stupid app, I'm not going to pay for it. It gives me. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Matt Lord, ready and go. Missile Command or Space Invaders?
Space Invaders.
Castlevania or Ghosts and Goblins?
Ghosts and Goblins.
Dr. Mario or Battletoads?
Dr. Mario.
Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Metroid?
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Diablo or Fallout?
Fallout.
Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear Solid.
Call of Duty World at War or Call of Duty Black Ops?
World at War.
Cuphead or Celeste?
Cuphead.
Cyberpunk 2077 or Animal Crossing New Horizons?
New Horizons.
Tears of the Kingdom or Final Fantasy 16?
Final Fantasy 16.
Time is up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Matt Lord, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Dan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Because
no.
there were definitely some I know that I missed on there, and after I said it, I was just like, F it. But
Dang, which ones?
So this is by far your highest scoring game that both of you have had.
Yeah.
But that's probably because it's 50-50, so you can take a guess.
Yeah, that's my best.
So Missile Command or Space Invaders. Space Invaders came first on the Atari in March of 1980, and Missile Command came out in April of 1981.
Okay.
Castlevania came before Ghosts and Goblins. That
really?
one I should probably have not included because there was just the time between the two was ridiculous. Castlevania came out in September of 1986 and Ghosts and Goblins was November of 1986. That was too close. I shouldn't have done that one.
I liked it.
Dr. Mario came out in July of 1990, and Battletoads came out in June of 91. So was Dr. Mario. Both of you got this one correct. Super Mario Brothers 3 came out first. It was February of 1990. Super Metroid was actually April of 1994. Those two felt to me like they came out very close, but they were actually 4 years apart on those.
Wow.
Diablo, the original Diablo, was January of 1997, and Fallout was October of 97. I shouldn't have done two in the same year, but I think both of you got that one correct. Devil May Cry was August of 2001. Metal Gear Solid was September of 1998. A few years in between those two. Lord, you got this one wrong. Dan got it, or Lord got this one correct. Dan got it wrong. Call of Duty World at War came out first, November of 2008. Black Ops was November of 2010, so a couple years before Black Ops. Both of you got this correct. Cuphead came out before Celeste. Cuphead was September of 2017. Celeste was January of 2018. Now we got into like pandemic times. These Animal Crossing came out right as the pandemic happened, March of 2020. Cyberpunk came out the end of 2020, December. And then finally, Tears of the Kingdom came out before Final Fantasy, May of 2023 last year, and Final Fantasy was June of 2023.
I got that one wrong. That was my...
You did.
That was the nail in the coffin. Dang. That was a good one, though.
Yeah,
Thank
It was
you.
close and fun. As always.
Yeah.
Aw,
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
On that
thanks,
note, we
Maulding.
need to start wrapping things up, but be sure to be subscribed to the YouTube channel and follow us on the socials. And you can find us on the socials at Maulding.
Yeah, it's Good Play With You on Twitter or X. It's you can email us at goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com. We're on YouTube at Good Playing With You. And then we have a new TikTok. What is our TikTok handle?
That is
I'm guessing it's Good Playing With You.
I think
hope.
that was a bit long, so I just
Oh yeah,
made
it's the same with Twitter, yeah.
I know. So I ended up making it just at GPWY2.
Perfect.
At GPWY2.
Comes right off the tongue.
Yeah.
Nice. I think that's what we've got so far.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have today. On behalf of the Good Playing crew, Matt Lord, Matt Maulding, and myself, Dan Whitehill, have a great weekend. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.